So I'm going to share something really interesting, and you'll want to stay tuned for this. Let me tell you a quick story. So I was joining a library. I had my adopted daughter with me. We got our library cards, and we were looking at some of the children's books. She would have been about 5 at the time. And the librarian at the end spoke to my daughter and said, isn't it wonderful that your granddad is bringing you to the library to take out some books? Your granddad.
Yeah.
So, Eric, I wonder whether our listeners have ever had or experienced an age gap situation like that. What about you?
Yeah, I absolutely have. I had a 16-year age gap once.
Some more on that in a moment.
All right.
But first, hello, I'm Steve.
And I'm Eric. And together we are two dads with one mission.
Welcome to the 𝗙𝗍𝗵𝗀 podcast. This is the show for dads, all about fatherhood, faith, and freedom, one conversation at a time. So on this week's episode, we're going to jump headfirst into that age-old topic. Some would say maybe even the elephant in the room, and talk more about how age is not the issue. Yeah. So Eric, tell us more about that 16-year-old age gap.
Yeah, so I was in a 12-year relationship, and when she and I met, we had a 16-year age gap. Now, I don't think she was necessarily looking for an older guy. You know, I'm 56 years old, and when most people see me in person, they think that they're surprised, to say the least. They think I'm more like in my late 30s or early 40s. So she wasn't looking for it. I wasn't looking. In fact, prior to her, I had never dated anybody outside of my age or age category by more than a year or two. And that had always been my life experience. And so, you know, but I met her, and, you know, the sparks flew, and there was chemistry, and there was, you know, mental connection, and all of that. Everything was kind of in place. And so, you know, she and I talked about it kind of after the fact. Like, we were already kind of dating, you know, been on several dates, and then it was kind of like this topic of our age came up, and honestly, both of us just kind of gave it a shoulder shrug. Like, we just realized immediately that it just didn't matter to us. And then, of course, as the weeks went on and the months went on, you know, her family, people in her family, some friends started, you know, kind of talking in her ear a little bit, expressing concern when they started finding out, you know, my age and all of that. And, you know, but it didn't really sound too crazy, right? Because, like, I was in my 30s, she was in her early 20s. You know, didn't sound too crazy. But you know, what I will say is that she had kind of like an old soul kind of vibe going on. She was very mature in a lot of ways for her age, and you know, very sober minded. So it just worked for a long time. It didn't work forever, but we were together for 12 years. And I would say, you know, kind of coming back to the back end of that story, even though we did eventually split up, I don't think age had anything to do with it. It really, I think it came down to, well, I don't know. I don't know if we want to get into what it came down to, but I know for sure that we grew apart. We grew apart spiritually. We grew apart mentally. And as I've watched her life now, she's still kind of doing the same things that she was doing when we were together. And, like, she, in my opinion, is not growing and maturing and developing. And I think that had more to do with us splitting up than anything else. So I don't think the age difference had anything to do with it.
Yeah, it's really interesting you said, Eric, because as you start to share that experience with us, it kind of resonates on two levels. And the first level, it resonates pretty much as you were culminating the end of your story there. Is, you know, I was previously in a 20-something year marriage, you know, new childhood sweetheart type of thing. Yep. And we were the same age. There was literally a couple of months between us in terms of age-wise. So we were born in the same year. known each other for 30 years, together for 25, married for 20, 2021. And that relationship ended about probably a good 6 years ago now, 5, 6 years ago.
Right.
And it ended pretty much, and that's why it resonated with me, is we kind of just drifted apart, and I knew it was no longer serving me. I was no longer growing as an individual or a couple. And I just had some major conflicts in my life at that time. So I ended the relationship. It ended up in separation and then later in divorce. So that's the first thing that resonates. But then the second thing that resonates is, after I was separated, I went into online dating. At a recommendation of a friend of mine. He said, Steve, you've got to get yourself out there and get on these dating apps. And I'm going to tell you exactly which app it was. It was Bumble. So I got myself on Bumble. It was highly recommended to me. And that's where I met my second wife, Jess. And, there is a 22-year age gap difference between us. 22 years. And, we've connected on such an incredible level, on all levels, from intellectually to spiritually. And there are so many things from our tastes and our likes and dislikes that kind of highly resonate. For us, that 22 years is not an issue. But I can tell you now, we've not experienced it per se ourselves. And I think it's because of the kind of energy that we give out when we're out. We get compliments like, you two are an amazing couple together. We're out on a night out, not anymore. For those of you who obviously are regular listeners and have tuned into previous episodes, you'll know we've got a 3-month-old now. Vincent was 3 this Monday in terms of 3 months. So he's 12 weeks old, 3 months. We got a newborn, so we get out a lot less than we used to. But when we used to go out, we'd been dating for a couple of years, and prior to us getting married and having Vincent, we'd be having a really great time. And people would come up to us and say, like, "Is this your first date?" Have you just met for the first time tonight?
And that kind of energy.
Yeah, because of the kind of energy, and when we go out, for example, and we people watch. We love to watch others. We love being in our own bubble, and we watch other couples, and like they're at the same table, but they're not connected. They're both on the mobile phone. Both on the mobile. You got it, Eric.
Yeah, no, I see it all the time.
Both on the mobile phones. And like when we're out, our phones are in our pockets. The only time the phone comes out is if one of us goes to the bar or the bathroom, and and it's usually to post a picture of us, a selfie of us on social media.
There's some thing going on between you with it.
Exactly. So we've not really experienced the negative side up front. Now I'm sure there are people that may look at us and then wonder, is this young lady out with her dad, or are they a couple? I mean, it's quite obvious we're a couple because we're kind of that connected, and we just, we always hold hands at the table. And we're just in this constant conversation. So yeah, really interesting what you shared, your story of 16 years. This isn't about one-upping, but if there was to be a winner, I think 22 years trumps 16. If I'm honest,
you win. Absolutely.
Yeah, so it kind of gets us nicely on to a couple of the main themes that I'd love to cover, and one of us, the topic is the age. Age is not the issue. Okay. And what I think it is, I think there's this stigma, this stereotypical, ideology about, when people enter into a relationship, but they should be a similar age or maybe a 1 or 2 years. And like when it becomes kind of double digits, and in my case and other people's cases, significant double digits, like, 20 odd years, 30 odd years, there's this kind of stigma and stereotypical that it doesn't fit the norm, and it's almost like shirked upon. And what I'd like to share for what I call the naysayers out there, that's more of a problem with them than it is with you. So a lovely phrase just sprang to mind then, but my dad shared with me once, and I use it all the time. What Peter tells me about Paul tells me more about Peter than it does about Paul. So those people where age is an issue for them,
yeah,
that tells you more about
it's
them
because
as
of some
individuals.
preconception or insecurity in themselves, or heck, I don't know, even jealousy. Maybe some guy might look at you and go, hey, I want a younger woman or whatever. Who knows what's going on? But it is a reflection of them more than really. That's all it is, right? It's not a reflection on the couple with the age gap at all, you know.
Yeah. And the second theme I wanted to cover is kind of it's about the strength and the quality of any relationship. It's less connected with the age of the people than other attributes. You know, for example, my wife and I, Jess, we've connected on so many levels, and as I'm experiencing that now, I'm struggling to find words for it. It's just like, it's just kind of a feeling of connectedness.
I think that's actually a good sign when you can't, when it's hard to put words to certain kinds of things, because that's that chemistry thing between people that's hard to explain, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's beyond words. So there is so many positive things that can come from it. But again, it's about your individualness in terms of, your values, where you are in your life. And I guess, you've got to make sure that all of that fits in with a criteria. So it's not a one size fits all.
Right.
So this is by no means my advice is go and find someone 22 years younger, guys. And date
that's
them.
not what we're saying.
Yeah, you have to be connected on all different levels. And, it's a chance in a million to find that B out there, as I did on Bumble. So, the other theme is about the strength and the quality of relationship are not directly connected to age. And, for me, this experience has given me so much positivity in terms of, look, I'm just about to turn 51 at the end of the month. And, I've just brought a 3-month-old newborn baby into the world. And would I have been able to have an opportunity of being a father again at 50? If I was stereotypically and kind of, fitted all of that stereotypes, probably not, because I wouldn't have met another 50-year-old who probably wanted to have a baby.
Right.
Because of the 22-year age gap, Jess was ready for motherhood. She's not had children before. And I'm, I've always wanted more kids. I'm ready to be a father again.
And, the thing is, historically, large age gaps are extremely common, even in different parts of the world. It's really only in kind of Western cultures that this idea of age similarities is even a thing, so it's a relatively new convention in thinking. So yeah, it's interesting. And honestly, I'm now single. I've been single for, I don't know, almost 6 years now. And as I look out, I kind of think that I might want to pursue. In fact, I have kind of a meet and greet tonight with a woman that's 16, ironically. No, she's not 16. She's 14 years younger than me. So I have no issue with that anymore. I never really had an issue. It's just that I never did it until I, met this one woman. And now it's kind of just opened my mind up to like, hey, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of the age gap at all.
Well, exactly. And that's the whole point of the topic. Age is not the issue. Right. The issue is with the other people that consider that age is an issue.
You still have to cross your T's and dot your I's when it comes to who is this person, the age. I mean, if there's 100 things you need to kind of look at to analyze a person, I'm saying age is like number 100. Like it's just not the thing. So let's I think our next topic actually segues pretty nicely, because in relationships, there can be drama. So Steve, what's our next episode title?
So the next episode, we're going to delve into the Karpman drama triangle.
The Karpman drama triangle. This is going to be super interesting. So come check us out. If you want to see kind of what we're about, if you want to connect with us, just go to allieddads.com. All of our stuff is there. And what do our listeners need to do, Steve?
They need to do a couple of things. The first thing that you need to do is you need to find and subscribe to us on your favorite streaming channels. Absolutely. The second thing that you need to do, and especially if you're watching the YouTube version, so again, we've got a YouTube channel, Allied Dads. is subscribe and like.
Absolutely.
So subscribe and like the YouTube channel.
And hit that bell so you get notifications when we put a new episode. And we put episodes out on every Thursday. So look for us. Hey, thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, great to be here. See you on the next episode.
All right. Take care, Steve.